This video is presented by Mohan Pathak, Microsoft Innovative Educator Expert, from Sanmitra Military School, Chandrapur, Maharashtra. Mobile number 9822739428. Listen to the poem. This is a poem from Standard 8, my English course book. Page number 3. Unit 1. 1.1. Be the best. If you can't be a pine on the top of the hill, be a scrub in the valley. But be the best little scrub by the side of the rill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a bush, be a bit of the grass, and some highway happier make. If you can't be a muskie, then just be a bass. But the liveliest bass in the lake. We can't all be captains, we have got to be crew. There's something for all of us here. There's big work to do, and there's leisure to do. And the task you must do is the near. If you can't be a highway, then just be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. It isn't by size that you win or you fail. Be the best of whatever you are. Douglas Malloch. Explanation. Be the Best is an inspirational poem composed by the famous American poet and short story writer, Douglas Malloch. The title of the poem itself reveals what this poem is all about. In this poem, the poet tells us that whatever we do, we should do that to the best of our ability. He has used various examples from the nature to convey his message. The poem is very simple in theme and language. It consists of 4 stanzas, each containing 4 lines. It follows a rhyme scheme A-B. The last word of every line rhymes with every alternate line like hill and rill, bee and tree, etc. throughout the poem. Use of the conditional clauses beginning with if gives the poem a good flow and supports the theme of the poem very well. Stanza 1. The poet begins the poem by giving examples from the nature. He says that if you can't be a pine tree standing tall and elegant on the top of the hill, then it doesn't mean that you are not worthy enough to be a part of the forest. You can always be the best scrub in the valley beside the rill, making the valley beautiful. The tall pine trees may form large forests, but without scrub by the side of the stream, the valley would lose its charm. So at least be the best scrub if not a pine tree. He further adds that if you can't be as strong as a tree, then at least be a bush. Stanza 2. In the second stanza, he again says that if you can't be a bush, then be a bit of grass, because a bit of grass along the highway can also make it prettier and happier. He then moves to another aspect of nature to prove his point. He says that if you can't be a muskie, a relatively uncommon and rare freshwater fish, be a bass, an edible fish. But make sure that you are the liveliest bass in the lake. Stanza 3. The poet, Douglas Malloch, wants us to be happy and optimistic. He says that if we can't be the captain of the ship, then we can be the crew. A captain alone can't sail through the seas. He wants us to know that there is always something for us and we should be proud of whatever we are and whatever we do. He explains that in this society, every work has its own importance and no work is to be ashamed of. So he asserts that we should do the task which is at hand rather than running towards bigger tasks. Stanza 4. In the last stanza, he says that if you can't be a highway, then be a trail, a narrow pathway. Some of the most beautiful parts of the nature are led by trails, not by highways. He further adds that if you can't be the gigantic sun, then just be a twinkling star. He says that size doesn't matter when it comes to winning or failing. Your success will depend only on how well you play your role. The poet concludes the poem by reiterating that ultimately what matters is whether you are the best in your field. Imagery used in the poem. Imagery is the name given to the elements in a poem that spark of the senses. Despite image being a synonym for picture, Images need not be only visual, any of the five senses, that is to say, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, can respond to what a poet writes. Pine, scrub, tree, and bush, musky, and bass, lake, and rill, highway, and trail, captain, and crew, sun, and stars. Be the best. Scrub, an area covered with small, low plants. Rill, stream or rivulet. Musky and bass, names of fish. Crew, sailors who work on ships. Leisure, unimportant. Trail, a narrow path. Big words and their corresponding small words used in the poem. Pine, scrub, tree, bush, bush, grass, musky, bass, sun, star, highway, trail, lake, rill, rhyming pairs. Hill, rill, bee, tree, grass, bass, make, lake, crew, do, here, near, trail, fail, star, are. Title, Be the Best. Poet, Douglas Malloch. Number of stanzas, 4. Number of lines in each stanza, 4. Rhyme scheme, A-B. Repeated expression, if you can't be. Important line, be the best of whatever you are. Part 4. Check your understanding. Please type the following link in your browser's address bar and take the test. Please remember that you can take this test only once.